Welcome to another episode of the Speaking of Speaking podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Charles Collins. So, speaking of speaking, today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. Yes, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. But before we get into it, because today is going to be show and tell. Remember when we were in school, we used to do show and tell? Well, today is going to be a show and tell. But before we get into that, I want to just ask you a couple of questions. What do you think the top paid speakers, so all the speakers that you see out there that you know, that you love, that you think are amazing, that you may even give the title guru, what do you think they all have in common? Here's a hint. It's not just that they have a good brand. That's not the answer, right? Here's another question for you. Have you ever thought about why there are some people who you always see on stages everywhere? If you turn on the TV, they might be on the stage. If you turn on, if you open up your phone and your apps, you go to Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, and they're just everywhere. They're on a stage everywhere, or they're on a summit, or they're coaching, or they're training. They're just everywhere. Do you ever wonder why those people are everywhere? Yeah. It's the same reason. It is the same reason that you see the top, speakers, the top coaches, the top consultants, all the top people out there and getting paid. You're over here wondering, well, now I know I got more sense. I got more sense, got more expertise, have more training, have more professional experience, have more degrees. You could have all the things in the world. And yet, you see all these other people out here just doing the damn thing, and you're wondering, well, why aren't people paying me? Or why is it that when I am in a conversation, in the sales conversation about putting me on stage, and I tell people my fee, they balk at it? They're just like, no, we're not doing that, or we don't have the budget for that. Yet you know that there are people who are being paid 10, 20, 50, 100, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars to be on stage. And here's another thing, like, some of you are motivational speakers and some of you are experts. And you might be thinking, I'm out here as an expert giving people all of this knowledge, sharing all of these things. It's actually going to impact their life. I'm giving them actionable things that they can do to change their life, to change their business. And yet, I'm still one of those people who is not being paid or is being underpaid. There's one word. I've been talking about this for the past several years as I've been working with speakers. There is one word that is holding you back, and that word is positioning. Positioning. Positioning is the key to all of those people's success. Now, in the beginning, you heard me say, it's not their branding. It's not their branding alone. Branding is part of positioning. And I talk about that in one of my other videos. You can go back and watch the video, Get Paid to Speak, the 6 Ps you need. In there, I talk about positioning, and I'll probably do a more deep dive on positioning, but understand that it is the positioning. So when you see people, when you look at their social media, when you look at their websites, when you look at their marketing materials, when you look at how they show up on stage, all of those things are positioning. You look at the words that they use, and that they always use those words over and over again, that they're always using the story over and over and over again. It is positioning, because positioning helps you to become known. Positioning helps you to put in a perception in people's minds about who they think you are and what it is that you're up to in the world. And so while there might be people out here in the world who have less education than you, less, certifications, et cetera, than you, what they have done is to learn how to powerfully position themselves. So it's not just positioning, it is powerful positioning. And when we think about someone like you, most of you who are watching, maybe, want to be on corporate stages. Some of you don't have a desire to do that. You just want to speak in public and still, right? And be able to speak at work or lead your teams. Powerful positioning, still important. Let me take a side note for a second on that, because when you're in the corporate space, you see that there's some people that people will listen to all the time. Doesn't matter what they say, how they say it, they'll listen to them. It's because of their positioning. If you're not one of those people, then you need to understand your positioning. So when we're talking about powerful positioning, especially if you are someone who wants to work in the corporate space, and when I'm talking about the corporate space, I'm talking about a corporation directly hiring you. And I'm also talking about all of these associations and conferences that are out there that support corporations and support their employees in their education. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Those people, if those are your paying audience people, the people who can hire you, the people who can bring you in, then part of your positioning requires, I said it, requires, part of that position requires that you are on LinkedIn. That's like a non-negotiable. I know y'all don't love LinkedIn. I know y'all think LinkedIn is boring and you like to be on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok with the dancing and the drama and the fool, I won't say foolishness because I like the foolishness. It takes me away from the everyday. Um, but LinkedIn is the place to be. LinkedIn has what, billions of users. And on LinkedIn, there is a very small percentage of people who actually post consistently. So it is a place where if you are really honed in to your position and really honed into your messaging, that you are able to market yourself and then able to monetize, right? So you need to be on LinkedIn. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my LinkedIn, put it out there for y'all to see, and pull out my LinkedIn page. And I'm going to go through the different sections to talk to you about how to optimize your LinkedIn page. Now, if you want this in a PDF form, just subscribe to my newsletter, sosnewsletter.com, and you will get the PDF for free, where I have laid everything out. So get your if you're on your phone, maybe pull up your desktop so that you can see your LinkedIn as I'm going through it. And if not, then go back and watch this again. Pull up your LinkedIn as we go through this stuff. But LinkedIn, for someone who wants to be a corporate trainer, a speaker, consultant inside the corporate space, or supporting HR people, employees, leaders, you must be on LinkedIn. That's where the decision makers are. Now, let me talk to you about LinkedIn a little bit and why people don't necessarily love LinkedIn in terms of a platform that they find is fun or a place to be. When you're on Instagram and when you're on Facebook and TikTok and Threads and all those other places, people are more apt to engage with you. They're more apt to like, they're more apt to comment. I want to warn you that on LinkedIn, when you are using this as a positioning platform to be in the corporate space, to be on these stages, a lot of those decision makers will not like, will not comment. It does not mean, however, that they're not paying attention. Okay. So don't live and die by likes and comments on LinkedIn. Keep putting out your content because there are people who are watching. When they are ready, they will come into your DMs, they will get on your email. So that also means that you have to have really good content. You have to have content that speaks to your audience on LinkedIn and content that they want to come back and see over and over again, like what's Kelly going to post next? And understand again that they may not comment on it, they may not share it, they may not like it. It doesn't mean they don't like it, right? It just means that they're just not going to do that. They're taking mental notes. And when they're ready, they will come for you. People come in my DMs all the time, or they'll just get on my calendar because I've given them a way. So you also have to give them a way to be able to contact you. So let me share screen, and we are going to get into what we need to do with these LinkedIn posts. And I really don't want to be on screen. Let me put myself up here out of the way. And let's share. All right. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And we're going to start at the very top. So what I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to start over here on the right, but what I'm going to do is walk you through the pieces of my LinkedIn profile. And I want you to be thinking about how yours looks. Now, I'm not saying that mine is perfect, and I am constantly editing and changing and doing what I need to do with it. But think of this LinkedIn profile as a billboard. You know, when you're driving down the street, you see the big billboards, and those cost thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Well, LinkedIn is your billboard, and it's free. It is free. So you need to leverage it, right? So let's look over here first. So we see over here where it says public profile and URL. If you have a URL for your profile and it has numbers after it, then people know that you don't know how to use LinkedIn. So we need you to change that. So how did I get to this page? Let me go back to home. Hopefully it goes back. So if I go back to home, then I just click on my name, and I'm going to actually stop sharing screen just in case to make sure that I get back to that page, because sometimes Zoom likes to play with folks. So let me come back and I make sure that I am here with you. Okay. So on this page, getting to your profile page, if you see pencils, you know that you can edit that space. So over here, we see over here, you can change the profile language, and you can also change your URL. You want to make sure that your URL just has your name, because when it's time to share with someone or you're talking, you don't want to tell them Kelly Charles Collins 6A4279B36, right? Whatever the heck numbers they usually have after your name. So how do you change that? You click on the pencil. It'll bring you to another page, and I'm hoping this is showing you, God help us. And then here you can just edit. Click the pencil again, you can edit, right? Then it'll see this last part here where it's underlined. Then this part you can change. 3 to 100 letters or numbers, just put your name. If you have a name that is common, then use your middle initial or use your full middle name or do something. But do change this so that you no longer have numbers after it, unless you intentionally want to have numbers in your name. Okay, so that's one part of it. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and going back, because if I record this video and it doesn't do what I want to do, I'm going to be mad. All right. So let's stay on this page right now. So up here, you see that there is a banner, and you'll see when you get on people's pages, whether you're on mobile or you're on your desktop, that people have different banners. If your banner is just that regular old blue or gray LinkedIn banner, you need to change that immediately. This banner is like that billboard out on the street. This is where you can show off who you are, what you do, who you do it for. You'll see that I have changed mine so many times. I don't know if they still have it. They did have, let me see if I click here. I don't think they have it. Let me see. I change photo, upload photo. Okay, so they did have, at one point, they were doing like a carousel. It was kind of cool, but it was moving too fast. So I don't know if they got rid of it. But anyway, all you need is one thing. You just need one banner. Make sure that this banner, if you are a speaker, think about what is your big promise to people, or what is it that you do for people so that they can opt in. You want your clients to be able to opt in and say, yes, this is my person. So for example, for me, I have Speaking of Speaking, so it's about speaking. And I say your expertise, my process and strategies, influence unlocked. because my goal and my mission is to help you to really unlock your influence so that you can create the impact and income that you desire and deserve. And how do I do that? I take your expertise, I marry it with my process and my strategies, we mix it all up, and we unlock your influence. And that could be with you speaking on stages, it could be with you really increasing and elevating your leadership skills in the corporate space. It just depends. But that's the process. That's my process. So that's what I am putting out on my billboard. I want you to know that speaking of speaking, if you're talking about speaking, I'm going to take your expertise, my processes, and my strategies. I'm going to unlock your influence so that you can create impact and income. Now, I didn't put the create impact and income because that's a lot to be putting on here. So make sure that you have enough that people know and they're intrigued by it, but not so much that it is overwhelming. Here's the other thing about your banners. Your banners need to be set up in a way that the spacing also works on mobile. So here you see at the top here, I have my website and then media that I've been featured in because that's a credibility marker. And then this is how you can get in touch with me. If you look on mobile, you should still be able to see all of these things because I test whenever I'm changing my banner, I test it both on mobile and on the desktop. Now, how do you create these banners? Because some of you might be saying, I am not a graphic artist. Neither am I. But since I've become an entrepreneur, I've become a graphic artist, a website designer, a funnel builder, a book publisher, a magazine publisher, a podcast host and publisher, all the things. Sometimes you just got to learn all the things because when you're starting out, you may not have all of the resources, the money, the funds to be able to do all the things, right? So we want to make sure that you have we want to make sure that you have a banner. Here's an easy way. Here's a hack. You don't have to be a whole designer. Here's a hack. Go to Canva, canva.com, and put in LinkedIn banner. They'll pull up a whole bunch of designs for you, and you can just play with those designs. But again, when you're playing with them and you're designing them, upload them on the desktop and then go look at it on your phone to see if it works, if you can see everything that you want. Also, be careful of the colors that you use. Sometimes the colors when you're on mobile, and which is where people will mostly be looking at your profile on mobile, the colors may not stand out enough. So make sure that you look at that, right? So make sure that your banner is something that if you were seeing a billboard or if you were to pay tens of thousands of dollars for a billboard on the highway, it's what you would put on the billboard. Next thing, profile photo. Not you with a not in the car with your seatbelt on, out in the yard playing around, unless that has to do with your business and what you want to put out into the world. Make sure that that profile pic is something that people can see your face. So in this one, you see, it's really clear of me. You can see my face. So this will always come up on mobile. People want to see your face. So you want to make sure. Now you see over here, my friend, Dr. Renee Baker, she has hers. Lynn, my client, she has hers, and other people. Now it depends. Now see Greg has his, like, more of his face is in this picture, and Patrick, more of his face is in this picture. Whereas for me, I have less of my face, but it's a full on picture of me that has a pleasant look. It's my brand colors. You don't have to be in your brand colors, but these are my brand colors and I love them. And so I did my picture this way. You want people to be able to see your face. If it's just gray, for me, if it's gray and you try to connect with me, I'm not connecting with you because I want to see you, right? So make sure that you have a really great picture. Again, you can use Canva. So if you have a picture that you love, picture of you that you love, but it's like the background is crazy or the background doesn't really look good, go to Canva, put the photo in there, remove the background, and bring it back into LinkedIn. Canva is free. There's parts of Canva that are free. There's some things on Canva you can't do unless you have the paid account, but Canva has a free account where you can do all of what I'm telling you right now. So, banner, profile picture, name, URL. We've done that. Now, the next thing is your headline. So that's this piece in here where you see I say, I reshape leaders, experts, entrepreneurs' brilliance into intellectual masterpieces that convert on stages, in boardrooms, and beyond. I may change that. I change it all the time. But what you want for this is for this headline to relate to what's on the banner, and that people, when they read this, they know exactly what you do. Now, I love this. It has great words in it, but sometimes I'm thinking maybe too many like fancy words, so I might change it. You can change this however times you want, how many times you want, however you want. Change it until it makes sense to you and will make sense to your potential clients who will opt in and say, yes, that's me. So here you see, I say what I do. Who am I speaking to? Leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs. What do I do with them? I take what's in their brain, turn it into a masterpiece. So whether that is a talk, signature presentation, something to do with their coaching program, their offers, and those things are things that we create that will convert on a stage. If you want to be on stages, if you want to be in boardrooms, especially for leaders, right? Understanding their messages and beyond. So in books and all the things. So you want them to know exactly what you do. So you have a certain amount of characters here. So you want to make sure that you do that. And then here I put other markers about me. So I'm a high stakes communication expert and strategist. I'm a retired attorney. I'm a keynote and TEDx speaker, and I'm an author. Again, that lets people know who I am, what I've accomplished in a way that is not like a resume. Now, because I'm mostly talking to people who will be in the entrepreneur space, I'm not necessarily talking to career people, right, who want to stay in their careers. I'm talking to career people, professionals who want to transition out or transition to add on speaking. And in that case, I'm talking to you, and those who are entrepreneurs who want to leverage speaking. So when you're doing that, this billboard, this headline needs to speak about you as a business owner. They need to know that they can hire you, not that you just do the thing or you've done the thing. You need to let them know, no, I work with people like you in order to do that. So you want to work on your headline. LinkedIn now has a headline. Let me click on here and then I'll come back. So in here, you'll see you could put your name if you have an additional name, your headline, and here you can get AI suggestions about your headline, your current, and all this stuff, right? You can add in. Here where it says custom button, edit custom button, you can do either none or a link, and I need to put my link. So if I wanted to do a link, get my, let's see, what link do I want to do? Oh, I want to do my newsletter. So I'm going to, let's see if it'll let me do it because I think it doesn't like my newsletter link. Okay. There we go. Okay. So subscribe to newsletter. Let's see. All right. Okay. And then I'm going to hit save. Okay. So now you see here, it has subscribe to newsletter. So let me stop again, sharing and share again, just to make sure that we are back on the page. All right. So here you see now it says subscribe to newsletter. I don't know why I didn't have that on there. Slipping, don't slip like me. Make sure. And so you see, I don't have the premium account. And I used to have my premium account. I don't anymore. So you don't need a premium account on LinkedIn for all the things that I'm telling you. So here, subscribe to newsletter. So now when people come on my link, come on my page, they'll be able to click here, go out. And this is my newsletter that's off of LinkedIn, right? Okay. Here are other sections. So add a profile section, add resources. This resources link is important. This resources link is if you do not have a creator account. So if you right now can't do newsletters, can't go live, any of those things, you want to click on resources and where it says turn on creator. Right now, you won't see it on mine because I have mine as a creator account. I'm already a creator account. But if you're looking for that, it should be under your resources tab. Here, if you see here where it says, it shows my followers, the number of followers, and then it shows my connections. That's because I have it set up for people to, the default for people to be able to follow me first before they connect with me. You don't need to connect with everybody, right? You want to connect with people who are your potential clients, who could be potential referral partners, potential partners, but just any and everybody who's in your messages. Oh, I've seen your profile and you look amazing and you're doing great work. You don't need to, you do not need to connect with all those people. So try to build up your followers, and then you can see, if you want people, the people who reach out to you, be discerning about who connects with you, who you connect with. Okay. So make sure that this top piece, which is especially in here with your headline, because when people go to mobile and they're looking through their feed and it comes up, this is what they see, right? They see the picture and they see this headline. So you want to make sure that your headline is on point. Here, this tells you your analytics, so you can see about your analytics. Here's another part that needs to be on point with your about section. This is basically your bio, but not your resume. This is your sales page. So think of this as the sales page. So your banner is like the billboard out on the street. This is now your sales page. So we're going to click here, and I'm actually getting ready to change mine. But on here, you see that above the fold, these two first lines, let me go back. Let me see if I can close it. Oops. No. All right. So these two first lines are what you see above the fold. So when they come in, so you want to make sure that if they don't see anything else in your about page, and actually, let me stop sharing again to show that to you. Oh, it didn't do it. Let me refresh. So this is what happens when you do show and tell. All right. So again, let me go back. And the reason I'm doing this, y'all, is because sometimes my Zoom does not pick up when I change from page to page. So I don't want to be talking about something and you don't see it. So you see here where when you come on this page, this is all you see, these first two lines. You want to make sure that these first two lines really reach people, really grab people, intrigue people to want to know more about you and learn more about you. So then when they click see more, again, this is not for you to do your resume. Your resume is further down. This is for you to talk about who you serve, how you serve them, what are your differentiators, how can you work together, giving them ways to be able to contact you, right? So here you see who we serve, what sets me apart, how we can work together, and let's get to work. Here are the ways that you can get in contact with me. Get on my calendar. You can email me, you can go to my website, you can shop for products. So I have products and books and all that kind of stuff so they can shop. So you want to make sure that you have enough information. And here it has what I've done. Instead of doing a full-on bio, I have weaved in information about me so that I'm a retired trial attorney, keynote speaker, strategic consultant. You know who I am. What do? I bring precision, clarity, and connection to high stakes communication. That's what I do. My approach changes more than what you say and how you say it. It reshapes how you see yourself and the impact you can make. You know what I do. You already knew from up here who I do it for. But I get very clear down here. Who is it that we serve? Right? And what is it? How do we serve you? What sets me apart? So what are my differentiators? Well, all the people out here who work with the same group of people on the same topic around speaking, how am I different? How can we work together? We could do all these things together. And if you're ready, let's get to work. So you want to make it clear. It doesn't have to follow this exact this exact format, and people do it in different ways, but you want to have these elements in there so that when people come to your page, they know exactly what you do and who you do it for and how they can connect with you. Because what happens sometimes is we tell people all these great things, I'm amazing, and they're ready and they have no way to contact you. They have no way to know what, well, how can we really work together? And now I'm ready. How can I get in contact with you? So you want to make sure that you have those. Top skills, this is a section in there where you can go in and put where your top skills are. So you want to go in and make sure that you do that. So here it tells you what my top skills are. All right. Here's a section. So these two sections I want to talk to you about, services and the featured section. Now, you see the services section here. A lot of people don't even pay attention to this, don't even know it exists. This services page, people on LinkedIn, people and companies on LinkedIn can look for, I think it's under here over for business. It might be under there. They can look for particular services that they need. So if someone's looking for help with public speaking, they're looking for a public speaking coach, they're looking for a career coach, they're looking for a leadership coach, they're looking for a marketing specialist, a salesperson, whatever it is, right? They can go to the services section. There's actually a page, which we're going to go look at. So let me make sure. So you click on there and you can put in here what your services are. What are the services that you provide? You can add up to 10 services. You can put a description, where you work out of. If you want to, you can put your pricing. You can add media. Now, let me tell you about this media part. The media will only show up if you have a premium account. So if I was to add media here, like a copy of a book or a copy of my website page or whatever it is I want to do, right now it will not show up on my page because I no longer have the premium account. But you see that it still does show that you have services and they can still go to your services page to look at it, right? And here, if you have reviews, you want to have reviews, here's messages, allow LinkedIn people message LinkedIn members you're not connected with to connect, because there may be people who you're not connected to. They might just be following you, but they want to work with you. So they can use this services page. Does this services page work? It does. One of my clients had her services page up and got a very high four-figure, I won't put her business in the street, very high four-figure business, I could say $7,500 because I won't say her name, $7,500 speaking engagement from having her services page. The person found her on her services page, reached out to her, they had a conversation, and they closed the contract. So the services page, whether or not, and she didn't have premium, whether or not you have the premium is a thing that you want to set up on your page. Next, the featured section. The featured section you can use in multiple ways. One way is to, when you have a post, say you have a post and that post went viral, whatever viral is for you, and you want people to see that post over and over again. You want, when they come to you don't want to have them search through the feed. You want it to be something that people could see right away. You can put that in your featured. The way that you do that is when you go to your post, click the three buttons at the top right, and it will allow you to pin to featured, and you will see it come up here. In your featured section, you can have lots of features, but only really, let's go back, only really the first three will show up on desktop, and on mobile, I think only the first two show up. So you want to make sure that the things that you really want people to do are at the front, and you can move them around. When you go into the featured section, you can move them around by using this arrow. You can add by adding, if you want to add something here, you can add a link, you can add a photo. So it'll give you different options. Let me see. So you can add a post, you can add a newsletter, you can add an article, you can add a link, you can add different types of media. So pictures, presentations, or documents, you can also add those. So that you can either tag something that you've already posted and make it featured. You can come in here and add stuff on your own that's not in, it does not have to be already in a post. It might be just something new. One way to use it also, so we talked about the banner as that billboard. This is another opportunity for you to use LinkedIn as a billboard. Here you see that I have Book Kelly to Speak, subscribe to my newsletter, and this is subscribe to, I should put here, subscribe to my podcast so that people really know. So this is what I want people to focus on right now. I want you to book me. I want you to subscribe to my newsletter so I can build my newsletter list. So if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe, sosnewsletter.com. And I want you to subscribe to my podcast. Now you might be listening, but you're not subscribed. So click that subscribe button, right? And if you go further over here, this is more specific about communication skills training. But where I'm focused right now is these three things. But if people come, they can go. When they go on mobile, when you go on mobile, you'll see these two things: Book Kelly to Speak and subscribe to my newsletter. Those things are more top of mind for me right now in terms of lead generation and generating revenue. So those are the two things. How did I do this? So that when you click on here, it's going to take you directly to my calendar. So if you book Kelly to Speak, it's going to take you directly to my calendar. Subscribe to my newsletter, it is going to go to the form for you to opt into my newsletter. You see up here where it says link. If you want to put something here where it takes somebody directly out to another page, then that's what you want to do. You want to use link. So remember here, it said add a post, add a newsletter, add an article, add a link. You want to use this for videos, articles, and websites. So things that you want to take people out. If, for instance, you wanted somebody to see your speaker reel, say you have a speaker reel and that's what you want people to see, then you would add a link, you would create your little graphic, and then you would use that link as the link that will send them out to your YouTube, to your page, wherever that video is, or wherever that thing is that you want people to see. You're going to use a link to send them out there. These are specific things that you want people to do, and this is one of the best ways that you can use this featured section, as opposed to just sending them to, an article, unless that article, or tagging an article as featured, unless that really has the information that you want in there. It has calls to action. But again, this is a way for you to maximize the billboard space, the marketing space on LinkedIn. So that's your featured section. In your activity section, what this shows you is all the things that that you can do on LinkedIn. You can have posts, which is what you read in your feed every day. You can have a dedicated newsletter. I'm going to talk about that. These are your comments that you've made. These are videos that you've put up. These are images that you have. These are articles that you've written, which they use newsletter and article. They'll put your newsletters in here too. Events that you've hosted, which you can do on LinkedIn, and then documents. So if you had a PDF, so sometimes you'll see like people do carousels, things that move and they look like documents. You'll see that there. So you'll see that I have a newsletter and it's called ExecuSpeak. When you come on my page, most people, when you go on their page, you'll see posts, right? Whatever they've posted for the day is what you'll see. If you go on my feed, if you go on my page and come into my profile, what you'll see is this. You'll see my newsletters, because that's what I want you to focus on, because that's where I have my thought leadership around high stakes communication, around speaking. And those are the things that I want to be booked for. Yes, my posts also focus on those things, but one, it's not as pretty when you see the post like that, right? The page is not as aesthetically pleasing. And I might be talking about different things depending on the day. They're all around communication, but see, like here, I shared something which was important to help someone out. That's not what I talk about. That's not what I want to be booked for, but it is part of who I am. And so I wanted to have that there. Then you have this, speaking of speaking, which, depending on when you're watching this, I do have a free training coming up. So go to authorityelevator.com to get on the wait list. So there's that. So you see that, but it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing. It kind of is like, jarring. Here, if you see my newsletters, that looks really good. It's very clear. My things are very clear. You can see. If you want, to have your comments be the thing that come up, you see some people when you go on their thing, that's the comments that come up. If you want it to be your videos, if you want it to be your images, your articles, again, you see they use my newsletter. If you want it to be events that you've done, so live events or documents. So you see here, I have some documents. How do you change it? So how do you make sure you go to this little thing right here? And it says, what content do you want to show first? And you just pick. I've picked newsletters. You can pick whatever it is that you want, save it, and that's what will show first when people come to your page. So that's that part. Newsletters. Let's talk about newsletters really quickly. Newsletters are gold on LinkedIn, different from articles. Why are newsletters, even though you're writing the same type of thing, why should you have a newsletter? Because newsletters have subscribers. So see my newsletter. I have 1,397 subscribers. That means 1,397 people have opted in to the content that I share in ExecuSpeak. They are interested in that. You are able to see who your subscribers are. And every time that you post a newsletter, LinkedIn does a notification that you've posted that newsletter and it sends it to their email. Now, you don't get their email address. So that is why I have a new newsletter where I am generating and building my off LinkedIn newsletter, because people actually have to opt into that newsletter and give me their email, right? sosnewsletter.com. But this one, and so you can go look at your subscriber list, see who they are, see if you're following them, see if you're connected to them, if you want to or not. Sometimes I will go on here and just send them a note saying thank you for subscribing. So you have access, and this is a way, again, this is another billboard. Y'all, do y'all understand this? Do you get this? 95% of the time, as a speaker, as a consultant, as a trainer, we are marketing. That's our job, right? Is marketing so that we can get on the stages and into the companies that we want to get into. This is free marketing. Lots of us don't have big marketing budgets, don't have the money. You're like, well, I don't have the money to do ads. You don't have to do ads. You don't have to do paid ads. This is all organic. When you write a newsletter, it's yours. Write what you want to write in it. Direct people to what you want to direct them to. Do you have an event coming up? Do you have a masterclass, a retreat? Did you just write a book? What do you want people to do? Give them substantive content, and then also share, well, you don't have to just read this. Here's how we can go further. Here's how we can keep the lesson going. Here's what we can do. Do you have a podcast? Send them to the podcast to go subscribe, or a YouTube channel, a newsletter, whatever it is. It is, again, another space for you as to just showcase who you are. There's so many opportunities on here, more than any other platform, in terms of the different ways that you can showcase and point people in the right direction, and that it's easily accessible, right? Not like Instagram where it's link in bio and then they got, right? No, right here. You want to read this newsletter? Click right here. You want to book me to speak? Click right here. You want to subscribe to my newsletter? Click here. You want to go to my podcast? Click here, right? You want to hire me to train your leaders? Click here. Very easy. Very easy. You need to take advantage of this. Now, down here, this is your experience. This is your resume, not the about section down here. This is where you can put all of your experience, who you are, what you did where, what your titles were, everybody who's married to a title, you can put all this stuff here. And you see here that I have like pictures of my books. When you're in your experience section, it gives you the ability to add media. So add it. If you have a book, if you have a retreat, whatever it is that you want people to know about, put it here, because you can see visually, it's like, oh, wait, what is that? And you can click on it, let's see, and it goes to it, right? So I'm going to stop sharing and come back. Wait, hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back and then let me stop sharing again. Okay. Because again, I want to make sure that we are on the page. Okay. So again, y'all, it's like building a whole store on here. This is your free store. You don't need Shopify. You don't need Etsy. You don't need WooCommerce. You don't need none of that. You can send people where you want to send them, all by just leveraging this free space. Now, you see here where there's a logo. That means that this business actually has a business page. LinkedIn allows you to have your personal page and then business pages. This has a business page. I do not post on it because people don't really go to your business page. Now, some businesses do a lot over there, so I'm not telling you not to build it, but I don't. I stay on my personal page. I put everything on my personal page. There's nothing you can put on your personal page. Well, I wouldn't say nothing. There's rules, right, on LinkedIn about what you should post, not post, I guess. But I'm saying in terms of talking about your business, getting people to hire you, showing what you do, showcasing what you do. You can do it all here. You don't have to do it on a business page. What it does do, if you have a business page, is it allows the logo to come up. So you see here, Speaker Moguls, my Speaker Moguls doesn't have a business page. So if you ever see this, just a gray and blue, that just means that there's no business page. Ladies Who Leverage has a business page. When I had my mediation company, an arbitration company, it didn't have a business page. Okay. Now you can put as much or as little here as you want, talking about your experience. What I used to have on here until maybe a couple of weeks ago is it really was like my resume. It had all the bullet points about, I did this and I did this and what I was responsible for. I cut that out because it got too long. You see here, it has 17 experiences, child. I've been doing a lot. And I just, went to putting a one-liner so people know, because it's not, they can go find out any other place, but I didn't want to see it just goes on forever. So I wanted to make it shorter. It didn't really make it shorter, but it is what it is. So you decide, do you want to put a whole bunch of bullet points? Do you want to get creative here if you want to and talk about what you do? Again, this is a window into you and your soul and what you're doing and how you've done, and to give people an idea of who you are without having to talk to you. So if they get all this information before if they get all of that information before they even get on a phone call with you, that's gold. You don't have to answer all the things. This will help to overcome a lot of the objections about whether or not you're the right person. Can you do the job? Have you done it before? Where have you spoken? Where have you trained? Where have you worked? What degree? All the things. What do you offer? It's already there. So let's go back. We're almost done with this. So let's go back here. Here, your education, that speaks for itself. Put in your education, whether it's formal education, informal education, whatever, put that there. If you're working on certain projects, when I said this was a project, this was actually a place that I spoke. So I put that there. So that might be something if you want to use this area. Some people, I've seen them use this area experience to show like where they've keynoted or where they're keynoting. That could get very long, right? But do what you want to do with it. Here's the project section. If you're working on a big project, perhaps that's really of importance or something that you want people to know about, you can put that there. If you do a lot in the community where people want to know that you are community oriented, maybe you're into social justice or environmental awareness, or do things with kids or support breast cancer or some other type of nonprofit, you might want to put that here. Or if you've been on a board, like I was a volunteer judge for teen court for a long time in Miami, and I was on I was a youth action committee board member. I was also a board member for Susan G. Komen, all kinds of stuff, right? So if you want to put that here, put that there, because again, it gives people a window into who you are. This is all about showing people who you are, what you do, who you do it for. So this is a great place. Here are your skills. Again, click on here. It says I have showing, 38 skills. You can go in this section. And again, anywhere there's a pencil means that you can go in there and edit. Here's a plus. That means that's what you do to add whatever, and it'll give you, all right. So if you want to add skills, it gives you a box that you can go add skills. Here's a big part too, recommendations. So you want to get recommendations from clients, colleagues, people, who know your work, who have worked with you, so that when other people come on here, people are always saying, well, who have they worked with and what have they done and what kind of results? And people always want to know those things. Oh, who can I talk to? Can I talk to some of your clients? Yes, go right on my LinkedIn and go to recommendations, and you can go and see my recommendations. So here you'll see I have 16 recommendations. I'm very bad. I should be asking for more, and I will work on that. So I'm gonna tell you work on it, and I'm gonna work on it. And then here is where if you've given other people recommendations, you'll see those there too. So when you click on here, how do you get a recommendation? You click on here, and you can either ask for a recommendation or give a recommendation. They make this very easy, y'all. So there's no reason that you don't have a proper LinkedIn profile. Publications. Here you can add publications. So it asks you the title, the publication, and the publisher. So if you did Harvard Business Review, or like you'll see for me, I did my books. You can add the author. You could add the URL. Again, hello. Another place. Send them to go get it. Another place for you to add your things. This is your Shopify and your Etsy store. So here, all my books, I have my books that I want people to purchase. I say what the book is. I put a short description, show publication. That means it's going out to the link where you can buy the book. Do y'all see? Now you understand what I'm talking about? Powerful positioning, right? Position yourself powerfully using this tool. You do not need to spend money to powerfully position yourself. You just need to spend time, energy, effort to think about who you are, who you want to be, who you want to be that person for, how you want to show up in the world. What problems do you solve? Who do you solve those problems for? And then if you're like, well, Kelly, I don't know how to say all that stuff. I don't know how to put all these descriptions. Great. Go to ChatGPT. Free. That's another free resource. It's lots of free resources. And I'm going to do a video on all the resources I use so that you can see. Some are paid, some are not. But you can go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm working on the publication section of my LinkedIn profile. I want to put something up here about my book. I need to put a short description. Can you help me with that? Done. Helps you put it in, right? But again, another place for you to market and generate sales, right? Right here. Courses. So I have here my Speaker Moguls University. This is a little different. Let me see, show you here. So this one doesn't give you a link out, but guess what you could do? So say for instance, so here I have Speaker Moguls University. I don't know if I have it linked, but anyway. So if I say Speaker Moguls University, that's where I have a bunch of, courses videos and stuff that I've recorded. It's on demand. So I could put that there. If it had a number, I could put it there. Associated with. Now I could go in here, and what it associates with is all of your different experiences. So if I said associated with keynote speaker and corporate trainer, remember when we go back up here to keynote speaker and corporate trainer, what can I do? I can add links. So if I wanted to put a picture here of the logo for Speaker Moguls University, and then I put a link, it takes them out to my courses in Speaker Moguls University. Right? Again, y'all, do you understand the power? Do you understand the power? So those are, again, you can edit, you can add. So I'll be updating this part too. And then down here, you see my interest. And then over on the right-hand side, it says you might like, people you might know, all that kind of stuff. Here, it's telling me to reactivate premium. I'm not, but you can. But you can see all the things that I just showed you about how to make. Let me stop sharing because that's all I'm going to show you on here. All the things that I have shown you about how to leverage LinkedIn to powerfully position yourself. It's free. It is free. And it just takes some time. And as I said, I'm always changing it. I'm always like editing stuff. I think of stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't like how that looks, or I don't like what that sounds like, or I've just shifted in what I'm doing. And so I go in there and change it. And you can change it anytime, anywhere, on your phone or on your desktop. So I know that was a lot. But I want to make sure that you understand that the key to success in this knowledge business, the key to success in being able to cash flow what you know, is being powerfully positioned. And one of the ways to do that is to have your LinkedIn profile optimized. If you want more of this in terms of having it in a PDF, it's not as detailed. It's detailed, but it doesn't go through as much as I just said here on this video, but at least you'll have it and you'll know the sections to go through. Go to sosnewsletter.com, subscribe to my newsletter, and you will get that PDF for free. That's my gift to you. In exchange for you trusting me with your email address, I am giving that to you as a free gift. Now, I've told y'all before that this podcast is not just about information, it's about implementation. So take this video, go through it section by section, go through a section, pause, do the work, go through a section, pause, do the work to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And when you're done, I want to hear from you. I want you to comment and tell me. I want you to tell me what you thought about this video, whether or not this information was helpful to you. Did you know all this stuff? Was there something new that you learned about LinkedIn that you didn't know before? A piece of that profile that you could put together that you didn't know? And let me know when you change it. Does anything change? Does anything happen? This is so important. I want you to not miss this. I know you all want to know, well, how do I get on stage and where do I find speaking engagements? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter until you are powerfully positioned. So that's it for now. Go watch the other videos. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, share. Don't keep this to yourself because we don't do that around here. And speaking of speaking, until next time, take care. Thank you for rocking with me for another episode of the Speaking of Speaking podcast. Remember, around here, we don't just consume, we implement. If you're ready to cash flow what you know, you have got to take action. Make sure to check the show notes for any links or resources that I mentioned. And if this episode brought you any value, which I know you got something out of this, right? If it brought you any value, do me a quick favor, subscribe, leave a review wherever you listen to this as a podcast, and let me know what's resonating with you. What's your aha moment? What's your biggest takeaway? Your feedback will help me to make this show even better. And one more thing. If you know someone or a few someones who need to hear this, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with them. Share it with a bunch of them. And until next time, remember, your voice is your superpower.